Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today for the Feds Feeds Family Summer Campaign Closing Event. It's our pleasure to host you here at the USDA's Witten Building. We would like to begin with first welcoming our distinguished guests, Acting Assistant Secretary for Administration, Malcolm Shorter, Sergeant Major Cicito from the Defense Commissary Agency. Good morning. Director Hilliard from the Office of Personnel Management. Dr. Rebecca Jaworski, who is our National Gleaning Coordinator. Good morning. And Deputy Administrator Tricia Kovacs from the Deputy Administrator for the Agricultural Marketing Service. Good morning to all of you. We'd like to begin our program with the national anthem. We kindly ask you to stand and welcome Miss Brittany Duncan to sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And we're going to stay standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brittany and Caleb. That was inspiring. And good morning. As Andrea said, I'm Dr. Rebecca Jaworski, the National Gleaning Coordinator, and I'm here to thank you today for 1.1 million pounds of fresh produce and warehouse food gleaned this year. You all doubled the 2022 gleaning campaign contributions. And your creativity and innovation was the key to the success of this gleaning campaign during the Feds Feed Family 2023. One example that I will never forget is the Department of Labor and GSA collaboration and their use of Uber to deliver gleaned produce to a 24-hour refrigerated unit in New York City. That is one example of many. I just don't have enough time. Congratulations and thank you. I am pleased to introduce Ms. Tricia Kovacs, Deputy Administrator, Transportation and Marketing Program, USDA Agricultural Marketing Service. Ms. Kovacs leads grant programs supporting local and regional food research and oversees the operation of the USDA Farmers Market and provides support to farmers markets across the country. Prior to joining USDA, Ms. Kovacs managed regional market programs at the Washington State Department of Agriculture. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Tricia Kovacs.
Good morning. I'm short, so I'm going to tilt this slightly. Good morning, Sergeant Major and guests here and virtually. I'd like to offer my congratulations, appreciation, and applause to federal employees for the more than 10 million pounds of recorded food donated during this year's campaign. That is an incredible accomplishment for our national communities. The work to respond to food insecurity, reduce food waste, and just generally ensure that people do not go hungry is really close to my heart. I have the pleasure and honor of leading a team here at USDA's Agricultural Marketing Service that focuses on local and regional food systems, where farmers play a critical role in feeding their communities through engagement with local schools, food hubs, grocery stores, farmers markets, things like that. All of these serve as markets for these farmers, allowing them to provide for their own families. And farmers markets are a great example of local and regional food outlets that play a role to mitigate hunger across their communities. Our own farmers market here at USDA is an example of that. Every year, our farmers market is proud to play a role in giving back to our community through its partnership with DC Central Kitchen. DC Central Kitchen is a nonprofit and social enterprise that provides hands-on culinary job training for individuals facing high barriers to employment while creating living wage jobs and bringing nutritious food where it is needed most. So all of you here are committed to those goals too. Every day, with the help of dedicated volunteers, DC Central Kitchen transforms otherwise wasted food into 5,000 healthy meals for the community. These meals are delivered to more than 80 partner agencies in the Washington metropolitan area, including homeless shelters, rehabilitation clinics, and after-school programs. During this last market season, which just closed at the end of last month, DC Central Kitchen received approximately 10,000 pounds of food from the USDA Farmers Market donations. Over a 7-year period, the farmers market vendors have donated over 70,000 pounds of produce, with donations increasing year after year. The way this works is that they, in lieu of participation fees, the vendors donate produce and bread every week. For those vendors who have a product that can't really be donated, like our pizza vendor or our Humbao vendor, they donate cash, which is aggregated to buy excess produce, supporting the farmers at the market and allowing us to increase the donation to DC Central Kitchens. Farmers markets across the country have similar programs. They're organized a little bit differently, but all of them are engaged in their communities. And every American can help fight food insecurity where they live by creating a community garden or donating produce to food pantries and meal programs, just as federal employees have demonstrated here. So I'm really proud of our AMS employees who run that farmers market with an eye towards supporting food security in our community here in DC, and so appreciative of the service of federal employees and their leadership supporting the Feds Feed Families Summer Campaign. The work does not stop here. We are now in the combined federal campaign season, and your CFC donation to food banks and pantries can be recorded for Fed Feed Families, which is a year-round activity. Again, congratulations on your accomplishments, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kovacs. It is now my pleasure to welcome Reed Hilliard, Director with the Office of Personnel Management. The OPM is at the forefront of the agency's defense system and keeps the OPM agency apprised of any threat or event that may yield an immediate change in operating status. With over 32 years of experience, Reed is responsible for the agency's broad spectrum of physical and personnel security, mission resilience, emergency preparedness, and the management of OPM's 21 facilities nationwide. This year, Mr. Hilliard also served as the Feds Feeds Family Chair for the Office of Personnel Management.
Thank you for that very kind introduction. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you heard, my name is Reed Hilliard, and yes, I'm the Director of Facility Security Emergency Management at the United States Office of Personnel Management. I'm truly honored to be standing before you today during this closing ceremony of the 14th Annual Feds Feeds Family Campaign. This remarkable event has once again showcased the extraordinary dedication and generosity of our federal workforce, and I cannot express enough how thankful I am to each and every one of you. The 2023 campaign has been a testament to the indomitable spirit of unity and compassion that defines us as public servants. It's inspiring to witness the commitment demonstrated by all of you, a commitment to supporting those who are most vulnerable and in need. This year, many of you stepped up to extraordinary ways, hosting in-person and virtual food drives, participating in gleaning opportunities, organizing charity events, and volunteering your time. All of these activities have been instrumental in achieving the campaign's mission of alleviating food insecurities within our communities. The impact of your efforts is immeasurable. The food collected and funds raised have touched the lives of countless individuals and families. You've given them not just sustenance, but also hope and a sense of belonging to a caring community. The positive ripple effect of your actions will continue to be felt long after this campaign has concluded. As we gather here to mark the culmination of this year's campaigns, let us remember that our responsibilities go far beyond a specific time frame. The spirit of giving, empathy, and support for those in need should be an integral part of our daily lives. It's a commitment to building a society that leaves no one behind. And I'm confident that our dedication will make a lasting difference. Your collective contributions to the 2023 Feds Feeds Family Campaign are nothing short of extraordinary. Your generosity and selflessness are a testament to the positive impact we can have on our communities when we come together with a shared goal. As we conclude this campaign, let us look forward to the future with optimism, knowing that our collective strength can create even more substantial change in the years to come. Let's not forget the power of empathy, the strength of unity, and the profound impact of service. These are the values that define us as public servants, and they are the values that will continue to shape our world for the better. Thank you for your unwavering commitment and generosity. It is a privilege to serve alongside you, and I'm excited about the positive change we'll create together in the future. With profound gratitude and warm regards. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hilliard, and the OPM team for joining us today and for our longstanding partnership on this program. We really appreciate everything that you bring. We also appreciate the federal community and our leaders for participating in the Feds Feeds Family program, and to partner organizations such as food banks and pantries for their timely distribution of goods, and to producers and community growers and gardens who supported our gleaning activities this past summer. From June through September, federal employees across the country donated canned and fresh food, engaged co-workers through team building and other innovative activities, including contests for building structures with canned and packaged foods, and best decorated collection bins. We invite you to visit the Feds Feeds Family Hub so you can see pictures of all of these innovative ways across the federal government we raised awareness and donations. We completed gleaning activities, harvesting crops including corn, tomatoes, potatoes, and leaves of sweet potato vines for food banks and organizations. Many of us participated in gleaning at food warehouses, helping to pack food boxes for families. Simply said, your participation in national events and these activities made a difference. Activities that we did as a community, such as National Day of Giving, Stuff the Truck, my favorite, Cutest Pets Contest. September is Hunger Awareness Month, and the Fed's Walk in Support of Health and Hunger Relief simply made the Our campaign a success, so thank you. Working together, our efforts combined to raise the largest amount donated in the Feds Feeds Family program since its inception in 2009. Thank you to the amazing federal community, more than 35 federal partners and federal agencies and departments partnered with us in the summer campaign. Many of you are here today in person or participating virtually. You made a difference this summer and the federal community together through the Feds Feeds Family summer campaign. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to welcome and introduce Mr. Malcolm Shorter, Acting Assistant Secretary for Administration for the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Malcolm was selected as the USDA's Acting Assistant Secretary for Administration in February of this year. He previously served as the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Administration in both the Biden administration and the Obama administration. Mr. Shorter has held leadership positions with the U.S. Forest Service, the Department of Interior, Department of Homeland Security, and as the Democratic Staff Director for the House Committee on Veterans Affairs. Malcolm retired as a Lieutenant Colonel from the United States Army in 2003 after a distinguished military career of more than 20 years. Mr. Shorter will be sharing remarks in recognition of the Defense Commissary's contributions to this year's campaign. Welcome, Mr. Shorter.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Andrea, for that introduction. I kind of look around and think who you're talking about sometimes, but I guess that's me. Really, it is my honor and my pleasure to join you here today to celebrate with our federal community and celebrating this year's successful summer campaign for Feds Feeds Family. But I think we've all heard that this is a year-round event and the need continues. So if it's in CFC or however you choose to give, I would encourage us to keep this going. Thank you for all that you have done. You know, through your dedication, you raised donations of slightly more than 10 million pounds for organizations here in the national capital area, such as So Others May Eat, Capital Area Food Banks, so many others. And that's important because during the summer months, you know, it's sometimes kids are out of school, different things happen. There is a need, and that need continues. And I just appreciate all that you were able to do. Because, you know, during the summer months, you worked hard at doing this, but you also had your other jobs to do. We recognize that because you had to fulfill the mission of your agency, your department, but you also took the time to recognize that others needed your help, and you provided that sympathy and that empathy, and you did that hard work. So as we take this moment to celebrate that 10 million pounds, I want to acknowledge those contributions, but more importantly, I want to acknowledge the work that you did. So I want you to give yourselves a hand for all that you did. It's really, this shows what we can do when we partner and are able to do things together. And there's simply nothing that we can't accomplish and that we can't do. And so as we talk about partnering, I've had an opportunity to talk to Sergeant Major Cecito a little bit, and I was joking with him because, being a retired military officer, sometimes, I follow my wife in the commissary, and we go in there, and there they are. They've made it very easy to give. And he said, isn't that a great idea? It absolutely is. Whatever we can do to make it possible for folks who might not be thinking about it at the moment to think about it, to give, is a great idea. So that's what DECA has been able to do. They have been a key partner in raising these $10 million. So we're pleased today to have Sergeant Major Cecito here. He's the Senior Enlisted Advisor for the Director of DECA. DECA commitment to this program and to the positive impact that we're making shows through their work each and every summer. In 2022, DECA and DoD community raised more than 4 million pounds. This year DECA exceeded that amount, wow, recording almost 5.8 million pounds, almost 6 million pounds of food. That's outstanding. So I want to take the opportunity, and we have this is the first ever inaugural partnership plaque. And so, Sergeant Major, if you would join me here, sir. I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to give this to you. But to Sergeant Major Cecito, we want to thank you for your service and for being present here today to receive the first ever Fed Feeds Family inaugural Outstanding Partner plaque. We are grateful for your service to DECA, for your service to this country, and for your leadership. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I think we need to move out front. I'm going to turn the mic over to the Sergeant Major, but before I do, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Command Master Chief Mario Rivers. Here's the good part. The Sergeant Major has served, and he has served well, but now he's going to decide to go off and continue his service in a different capacity. So he will be retiring. And congratulations on your retirement. But the great thing about succession planning is that you always have another superstar in the lineup ready to take over. So our superstar in lineup is Command Master Sergeant Mario S. Rivers, and he will be assuming that role at DECA. So, Command Sergeant, please. Now it's my honor and my pleasure to turn the mic over to Sergeant Major.
All right. First of all, good morning, everyone. It's never good to be the last one to speak, especially when you have a lot of numbers and statistics to put out there. I mean, my speech has basically been said, so have a good day. I'm kidding. So, hey, I accept that plaque and that recognition on behalf of the Director, CEO of the Defense Commissary Agency. But more importantly, I want to accept it on behalf of our store workers. Down where the rubber meets the road, at the front end, the cash register at our stores, where they are there every single day delivering the benefit to our eligible patrons. And they're there every day. And they were there every day during COVID. They did not telework. They were there wiping the carts down, wiping the stores down, delivering the benefits. So kudos to them, great kudos to them for that recognition. Thank you very much, sir. And something, you mentioned the bags, the Fed Feeds Family bag. We kind of had an up on everybody else, right, with the numbers, because we did make it easy. And we learned in industry that convenience is a commodity. You make it convenient to access, and people will participate. And our people did a fantastic job doing that. So thank you very much for mentioning that. And today, it is kind of bittersweet closing ceremonies for the Fed Feeds family, but like you mentioned, it's closing for me here, ending in just under 33 years of active duty in the Marine Corps. Great opportunity to work with some fantastic people, partnering with USDA in this fantastic program. And Command Master Chief CMC Rivers is going to do a fantastic job. I'll make sure of that. With that, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. It's great to be here at the Fed Feeds family closing event. On behalf of the Director, the CEO of the Defense Commissary Agency, we are honored to collaborate with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the Department of Defense, and all federal agencies for this very important cause. I cannot state enough how important it is for what we are doing with the Feds Feeds Family campaign and the tremendous impact it has on individuals and families who need it the most. Since 2013, the Department of Defense and the Defense Commissary Agency have donated food throughout the country to help feed those in need. We have all experienced recent increase in food costs. For some families, household budgets are adjusted to offset increase in food prices. However, for those who are financially challenged, often their budget does not cover the basic needs such as housing, food, and utilities. Often, people in the lowest income bracket depend on local food banks for their support. That is why it is so important for all federal agencies to support the Feds Feeds Family campaign. The Department of Defense and the Defense Commissary Agency work closely with over 208 food banks throughout the U.S. and Puerto Rico, donating to local food banks throughout the year. Here come the numbers, okay? During this year's Feds Feeds Family campaign, the Department of Defense donated over 5.8 million pounds to local food banks, an increase of 23% from last year. The Department of Defense commissary share of the DoD's 5.8 million was 4.1 million pounds, or 71%, to a total pound increase for more than 28% of last year. That's fantastic. This year's campaign was successful because of team working diligently across all federal agencies, to include the Department of Defense. This outstanding achievement demonstrates the department's commitment to helping people in need, as well as the generosity of the Department of Defense employees. The annual Feds Feeds Family campaign is a great way for the Department of Defense employees to give back to the community. It is an all-time high since the Department of Defense began its participation in the Feds Feeds Family campaign since 2013. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has been a great partner in helping the Department of Defense achieve this goal. On behalf of everyone using this resource, I'm here today to say thank you for your support. We are extremely grateful to everyone who contributed for their hard work and dedication to make the Feds Feeds Family campaign another success. Without their support, many low-income families would go without. Each year, we look for ways to strengthen the program to help those in need. In the coming years, we are committed to building on the program and hope you will join us in the life-impacting endeavor. In closing, please remember that your contributions to the Feds Feeds Family campaign does make a difference in people's lives. And if you are interested in helping, just stop by a local food bank and ask how I can help. Thank you.
Once again, congratulations, Sergeant Major Cestito and Command Master Chief. We're once again welcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and my pleasure to introduce Tom Vilsack, the Secretary of the United States Department of Agriculture. Under Secretary Vilsack's leadership, USDA is investing in America by helping to restore the American economy, strengthening rural and historically underserved communities, responding to the threats of climate change, creating good-paying jobs for American workers and our next generation of agricultural leaders. And most importantly, we're investing in our kids and our families. I said all of that to simply say this: Tom Vilsack cares about America and its people. It's his mission to fight hunger and to feed people. There is no better advocate for Feds Feeds Family than Secretary Vilsack. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the podium the 30th and the 32nd Secretary of Agriculture, the Honorable Thomas J. Vilsack. Mr. Secretary.
Malcolm, thank you very, very much. Appreciate that introduction, but more importantly, appreciate the leadership you're providing to our departmental administration. None of this work that gets done at USDA could be done without the folks behind the folks. And Malcolm is in charge of those people, and appreciate the work he's doing. Sergeant Major, congratulations, and certainly a debt of gratitude owed to the Defense Commissary Agency. You all have really done a remarkable job of encouraging and participating in this Fed Feeds family, and obviously you've been a central and key component to the success of this effort throughout the 14 years of the effort. And I'd be remiss if I didn't just say a comment or two about Andrea. You know, this is a remarkable woman. First of all, it's remarkable because she works for APHIS, and APHIS is an incredible mission, part of our mission at USDA that is committed to protecting our plants and animals. And every person who works at APHIS basically punches above their weight in the work that they do. And that would be enough to sort of pat Andrea on the back. But then, as you may know, she's the national chair of our Fed Feeds family effort, which is a major undertaking that you take on and volunteer for. What really caught my eye was that wasn't enough for her to make sure that people were well fed. She was also helped to lead our combined federal campaign effort, in which we're encouraged to make donations to charitable organizations of our choice. Andrea, thank you for an extraordinary work. But you know, this is an example of the people who work for the federal government. These two folks right here, folks here, I mean, the folks who are here that work for the federal government. Yesterday was the Sammys Award, and I had an opportunity to go and introduce one of the awardees. And I was trying to convey a sense to the audience of the significance and importance of federal employees, of people who work for government, people who work for the public, people who provide public service, and what a noble undertaking it is, and how critically important they are to a functioning democracy. We often talk about our jobs. If I were part of the Defense Department, I'd talk with great pride about the work of the men and women who defend us and travel to faraway lands to defend freedom. I work for the Department of Agriculture, so I'm more than happy to talk about the folks that ensure that the people of this country live in a food-secure nation, where we don't necessarily have to rely on anybody for the food that we produce for our own people. Both of those agencies help to make this a safer and better place, and actually, I think, strengthen democracy. When you have assurances that you are living in a safe country and you have assurances that you are going to be able to get the food you need for your family, there is a sense of security that many people around the world don't necessarily have. And you don't have to look very far today in this world of ours to find places where folks don't feel safe or where folks are not being fed. So the participation and the work that's done by federal employees makes us a stronger democracy. Then when you add to it the willingness of those who work for the federal government to contribute above and beyond the work that they do. So many of the folks who work for the Department of Agriculture often work above and beyond in terms of the hours they commit to the job that they have. But then we come along and say, you need to do more. You need to give just a little more. Now, you need to participate in the Fed Feed Family program. You need to pick up a few cans or a couple of boxes of staples and contribute them to food banks and pantries and central kitchens. You need to work in the people's garden down the street here and harvest whatever is capable of being harvested and provide that to the central kitchen here in D.C. so that they in turn can help produce quality meals and opportunities for folks. And folks respond. This year we set a record, as I understand it. Over 10 million pounds contributed beat the record of 8.2 million last year, which obviously sets the bar for next year. Absolutely, I'm sure we are. Sergeant Major, I'm sure we are. And if you look at the 14-year history of this program, over 118 million pounds going to food banks and pantries and central kitchens. And these people are just as central to our democracy. All you have to do is go to a food bank or one of these pantries or central kitchens and watch the dedicated people who are working. Sometimes they are paid, sometimes they are volunteers, sometimes it's a combination of paid and volunteers. They collect food products from all sources, and then they make it available to people who are struggling. And what a lifeline. An extraordinary lifeline during the pandemic, but a lifeline on any given day, where people who are struggling know that at the end of the day, if they need something to feed their family, they know there is a food bank or a pantry willing to enable them to be able to take care of their family. And to do it in a way that provides nutritious options. To do it in a way that helps families understand other programs that they might be qualified for, that might assist them. You go to food banks today and they'll tell you about the WIC program, or they'll tell you about the SNAP program, or they'll tell you about the summer feeding program, all of which is designed to help those families get through a tough patch, which allows that family to feel just a bit more secure. And when families feel secure, you've got a democracy that works. So I wanted to come down from my office today, first of all, to thank everybody who's participating in the campaign for a job well done, and to acknowledge the significance of this work to a much larger challenge we have, which is we're entrusted with this democracy and we have to make sure we preserve it and defend it and enhance it. And also to acknowledge the important and incredible work that's done by those who work in food banks, pantries, and central kitchens across the United States. You know, they are truly patriots in my view. It is tough work, it is difficult work, but it is incredibly important work. So to all who made it just a little bit easier, 10 million pounds easier this year, during those lull months of the summer when maybe donations aren't quite as significant as they might be during other months of the year. Thank you. Please know that your work is and will make a difference. You're not going to get the families who are impacted by these donations here today to thank you. They may not even be aware that you have been as generous as you have been. So it's my job to make sure that you know at the highest levels of this department, and I suspect Secretary Austin is in the same frame of mind as well as every secretary and administrator of this government, that we understand and appreciate how significant this program is and how vital it is and how proud we are that we have stepped up for 14 consecutive years, and that we look forward to breaking the record again next year. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for your kind words and inspirational words. Across the country, we partner with organizations, food banks, and pantries to support people in need. Today, we'd like to close our event showcasing the impact Feds Feeds family has had on these organizations.
Over the years, Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida has grown from a small warehouse near downtown Orlando to 4 distribution centers and a production kitchen that efficiently receives, prepares, and distributes enough food for over 300,000 meals daily. Kids, families, and seniors can access the nutritious food they need to thrive through a robust network of 625 feeding partners across 7 counties. Community support has allowed the food bank to seek innovative programs to fuel students, deliver groceries to homebound individuals, drive fresh produce to food deserts, respond to disasters, and even train the next generation of cooks. Thank you for the critical role you play in fighting hunger.
Good morning. My name is Molly McGlinchey, and I'm the Deputy Chief of Programs and Innovation at the Capital Area Food Bank. Thank you for inviting us to help celebrate another successful Fed Feeds Families campaign. We were thrilled to see that this year's donations exceeded 2022, totaling more than 10 million pounds of food. With a food drive of this scale, everyone who participated is making an enormous difference by providing access to nutritious meals for those who need them most. That includes our neighbors here in the nation's capital region, where the Capital Area Food Bank is the anchor in the area's hunger relief infrastructure. Our mission is to create more equitable access to food and opportunity through community partnerships. We provide food to a network of hundreds of nonprofit partners throughout all 3 regions in the DMV, including Bread for the City, Martha's Table, and DC Central Kitchen. We serve nonprofit partners of all sizes, and for the majority, we are the source of most or all of the food that they provide. Last calendar year, we distributed the food for 53 million meals, 76% more meals than the amount we distributed in 2019 prior to the pandemic. In our last hunger report, we found that despite signs of an improving economy, food insecurity affected 32% of our neighbors last year. That's virtually unchanged from the prior year and means that more than 1.2 million people struggle to access enough food to eat. Those neighbors are largely employed, educated, and middle class. 76% of those who are food insecure are working 1 or more jobs. Driving this high rate of food insecurity are 3 key factors: a slow, inequitable recovery from the pandemic, high rates of inflation, and the retraction of enhanced government support programs that were in place during the pandemic. Many of our clients were affected by several of these key factors, straining their finances and making it harder to access food. In these incredibly challenging times, it's the support of our community that's made it possible to step up to meet that demand. This campaign speaks to the commitment of each agency to making our communities stronger. We simply can't do this work without you. That has always been true, and it's especially true now. That's why Fed Feeds Families is so important. You have helped a child to continue to grow and learn by ensuring their stomach isn't growling and that they can continue to concentrate at school. You have helped a working parent attending a local community college to put meals on the table while they strive for their degree. You have helped a senior stay healthy and strong. You have helped people focus on the most essential things in their lives without having to worry where their next meal is coming from. The quality food you have provided isn't just helping to address hunger today. It's unlocking human potential and creating brighter futures for people tomorrow. More than ever, our communities need this support. Together, we can address the challenges of this moment while also continuing to create a future in which more people have opportunities to thrive. Thanks again to every member of our country's federal agencies who put time, energy, and resources into this key campaign. Each of you has made a tangible, critical difference in the lives of so many of our neighbors. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
As we conclude the program, we again want to thank everyone who has participated in the Fed Feeds Family Summer Campaign. We made a difference that is lasting in our community. Thank you to the members of the Fed Feeds Family National Leadership Team, the chairs of all the participating agencies, and the USDA leadership for the work and support throughout the campaign. As you heard from our speakers, we can continue to make a difference as the Feds Feeds Family is a year-round campaign. We encourage the federal community to continue recording your donations on the Hub. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the 2024 campaign.